I also want to create a queue line here for people who are probably waiting for the ticket machine. So I'm just gonna go find some characters that are standing around in line. See if I can find some. Line waiting. Okay, so we have these set of characters. We'll have 3. We'll put it on this side. So now that we drop the characters in right now, we can see that they're penetrating through the ground plane. But before we can move them, we have to finalize our settings for the actors. And we have this pop-up window. What we're going to do is hit randomize again if we don't like the current characters that's been deployed. Now it kind of changes their expression. If we want different actors, we can click randomize actors and then click randomize again. We'll click OK. So now that we have our 3 characters set up, what we want to do is move them. But before we move them, let's go back to the first frame. And we'll do that by clicking the start button here. It goes back to the start frame. If you don't do that, you're going to cause a rotational animation, which we don't want to do. So let's select these characters. Hold down Control to select them and add them. And we're going to go to the scene and look for them. We'll see a 3 waiting collection folder. And under that, we'll have our 3 characters and a box. This box acts as a collision object, and that's to prevent the crowd simulation from running into this set of characters. With the snap feature on and the move tool, we're going to slide it up, and as I slide it up, it won't go any further than the object's face. And we're going to rotate them all together, and then we're going to slide them forward to the ticket terminal. Oh, gotta be careful here. Snapping to the other face. We moved the bounding box, but our ground plane hasn't updated. Or the Nev Mesh has not been updated. In order to update it, we have to go to Update Nev Mesh button here and click it. And then it will recalculate the ground with the updated collision boxes. Let's play the animation, see if it works. I'm gonna hit play. Okay, that's about 10 seconds of animation. Let's watch the whole thing. Alright, let's move on. And now we want to create a general crowd simulation for the entire plane with people scattered all over. So we're going to go back to Create, Scattering, Generate Crowd again. It's going to open up our crowd generation dialog box. And this time we're going to click Pick Object and pick our Nev Mesh. And you can see here we have our actors and our motion already set up from before previously, and we will start populating them. We can use the amount. We have 6 characters across the entire Nev Mesh, and we want more than that. I'm gonna go to 50. I'm gonna type that in. And now we have 50 actors distributed on the Nev Mesh. We can use the spacing to see how they are spaced apart, or the minimal spacing they'll have with each other. And I'm gonna set it to 10. Orientation, right now they're all facing 0 degrees. So they're all starting at the same direction. And I don't want that. I wanna randomize it. So I want to randomize it, and I set random orientation to 1. And that means everyone would be facing between 0 and 360 degrees. Although the crowd dialog box has been populated previously from that volume box we had, they are mostly with animation with people standing around. And we don't want that. We want people to be walking around. So in this case right now, what I want to do is to delete all our standing animation. And we're going to populate with people walking around. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use IMD files. And IMD files are more robust character animation that allows you to have multiple settings of how the actor should behave. So we're going to go to Animation. And we're going to use Motion Director. Crowd Sim. And we're going to grab each one of these. drag it in here. So now we have IMD files. IMD files gives you some powerful settings, and I'll show it to you right here. We can open up the range. So you have some characters, maybe about 50% of the characters will be idle, 50% of the characters will be in motion. And to switch between the frequency of that, you can have that set all here. You can also control how fast they switch, and how to mix between the different animation cycles. In this case, we're just gonna keep it simple and make sure that everyone's constantly walking. And now we're gonna click deploy actors. Okay, now that the crowd has been populated, let's take a look. So when you hit play, you notice that only the characters using regular animation files are being played. The rest of the characters that are using Motion Director animation files, or IMD, are not playing because they need to be calculated. So to get that to work, we're going to go to the Start Motion Director button, click that, and it's going to calculate the crowd simulation. Now everyone in our scene is walking. Something to keep in mind is that Motion Director files are computated, so they're not keyframed. So what we need to do right now is bake down the animation for each of these characters that are running around the crowd simulation, and then we can export it out into Blender. So let's do that.